Welcome to Great Talk and Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the YouTube channel where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment official channel. Now let's go, baby. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, everyone. My name is KJ, and today's video is my spoiler review for the season finale of Season 2 of Daredevil Born Again, Episode 8. Spoiler reviews. If you have not seen this amazing season, please pause this. And before you go and watch this show, could you please hit the thumbs up button, aka the like button. Come back and let me know what you think about Season 2 of Daredevil Born Again in the comments below. So again, this is a spoiler review. Y'all been warned. Now, let's get into it. This episode begins with Daredevil and Karen at their spot where they usually hang out at, just together or with friends, where they eat and drink a little bit. But then it switches up to the trial, where Matt Murdock as himself this time to help Karen out to be her lawyer, or one of her lawyers. And of course he's bringing up his A game in court. And Dr. Glenn gets, stumbled when Matt Murdock asks her about, is a person considered a vigilante if they don't wear a mask? And that really stumbles her. And he's literally just outshining everybody in this court. Like, every time they say something, he's got an answer for it. He's got a loophole. He finds this, he finds that, he brings this up. He questions everything. He's just on them. And they're getting annoyed because of Mayor Fisk, aka the Kingpin. Also in this episode, they're setting up a fake assassin using a fake bullseye, as we learn later on in this episode, as it's just setting up where to shoot the target at, and it's pointing at the trials as we see. And then it continues on with the trial as Kingpin shows up to court as a witness during a testimony. And what I like about this is Kingpin's getting asked, do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth thing? And you hear Daredevil use his lie detector power, and Kingpin's just lying out his mouth. And, he's also trying to set up the real bullseye, too. And what was interesting is Kingpin made a statement and stuff, and, it was very like a show. But Matt Murdock was not backing down for one bit. And this court scene, as it started to heat up, Matt Murdock is about to reveal that to New York and the whole world that he is Daredevil. And just like that, just like the way Tony Stark did it, the world freaked out. And at first nobody believed him. They're like, how can a blind man be Daredevil? And he did the trick with his cane that he uses to walk around. And people were like, oh, wow. And so it got Karen out of this trial free. And also after that, the governor, McCarthy, told her, oh, man, you better plead the deal, take the deal, you better do this, because if not, it's going to get ugly. And Kingpin wasn't backing down. And as soon as they come out, well, the real bullseye took a shot and hit Buck. And Buck took the shot. And what's funny? In Season 1 of Daredevil Born Again, Matt Murdock took the bullet for Kingpin, but he wasn't willing to take a bullet for Buck. I just thought that was funny. But because of that, it all went sideways. Things got very dark. And Kingpin declare war on the city of New York. And this is where it gets really bad because BB Urich uploads a video exposing Kingpin, inspiring the people to fight as they put on, like, they cosplay pretty much as Daredevil. And they get violent and they start tearing stuff, beating things up. And one of the task force members gave up. There was like, no, I'm not shooting nobody. And they hit the main leader of the task force, right? And what I thought was interesting about that is that guy with the scar on his face in the task force. I always thought that they were gonna go somewhere, go a crazy, insane, mental route with this character, but to see him like stand up to the leader of the task force and hit him, and let the people in the courtroom, I thought that was an odd way to go with him, because I just always felt like he was gonna go crazy, like Joker crazy at some point, but in a military way. So I always thought that, but I think, again, from what I can tell, and what their like podcast special that they do on Disney Plus and stuff, they talked about, there was a lot of scenes cut out of this, and they redid a lot. Like, Daniel Blake wasn't supposed to get shot. They CGI all that, and then just because they originally wasn't, and that's why when you seen Kingpin ask Buck, "Hey, did you take care of this?" And he just nodded his head. That was like, they cut something out and they admitted it. So with this scene, with the task force that took his firearm and hit the leader of this task force and let the people in the court, I think that's not how it was originally shot in that scene. I think it was something different, because it kind of just doesn't add up to that particular character. And that's all I'm saying. It's just, I can tell in this last episode that was one of the first thing I noticed of it just not adding up. But I guess it's not a big deal, because most people are not worried about that particular character unless you've read certain comic books about this character. So, from the task force, AVFTA. So, if you don't know, you don't, but it's not a big deal, realistically. I just noticed it myself. So as the people are just fighting back, Daredevil and Jessica Jones joins as well, as they get ready to lay the smackdown as Kingpin as well, because the general called and said, "Listen, man, said take this deal, leave New York, and you won't get charged, you won't get arrested. But if you do, things are going to get nasty." And Daredevil took that as a challenge. He came in and beat up every person who has cosplayed Daredevil. And then Jessica Jones and Daredevil fought Kingpin's task force. And all three of them just lay the smackdown. But then we get to this scene where they're in like the middle of the main floor. And Kingpin's like, "I did this for you. I gave you my heart and soul. I love New York." And the people kept attacking. But what stopped it is Daredevil and Jessica Jones. And that's how it ended with that fight, because they was like, if you love New York, you love New York. And by the time that gets all over, and you know what I like about that scene is, this to me was such a poetic justice moment for me, because I think what I liked is, you see Daredevil saying, "Come on, man, like, you say you love New York, do the right thing, take the deal. Just go, leave New York, do the right thing." And as complex character that Kingpin is, I think all after, even though he got his ass whooped, I think it's just the way Daredevil was talking to Kingpin, trying to reason with him, and I think that got him. And it's just kind of messed up and crazy, but that's the thing. Like, it wasn't really the fighting; it just led up to those two just having like a few second moments of Daredevil just trying to talk him out of it, and that's what happened. I mean, and he was just trying to protect the people because, listen, Kingpin could have smashed them all. He could have smashed all those innocent people who are cosplaying Daredevil, and it would have gotten even more bloodier. And that's what Daredevil and Jessica Jones were trying to prevent. But Daredevil found the right way to talk him out of it. So that's a real superhero moment. You know, that was like a Spider-Man moment with Green Goblin or Hobgoblin, whatever version you want. But it's just kind of one of those moments, and I thought that was really cool and poetic. And then in this rest of this episode, you see Luke Cage come back. We see that Mr. Charles is revealed as Mr. Robertson, and he's on the plane with Bullseye. And I guess he's replacing Luke Cage, so Luke Cage can come home back to Jessica Jones and their daughter. And also, too, they had like an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. type Easter egg. And then we also see like Dr. Glenn, Heather Glenn. She puts on the mask of Moose. And when she has it on, and she's looking in the mirror, she sees her face, right? And so what that means is this is how she truly sees herself. She feels herself now when she puts on the mask. And then we see Kingpin on his island, which I'm hoping is Genosha. And this is how they connect the mutants into the MCU. That's what I'm hoping. And we also see BB Urich. She's working at the same place her uncle works at. She got the same job now. And I thought that was really cool. Now, also, too, Daredevil gets arrested. So it goes back to that scene where it's Daredevil and Karen Page just eating at this, like, restaurant. And they arrest him. And he's in the same prison with the task force that got arrested. And to me, that really, not a whole lot, but I would say a good 40% of the plot of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Because at this point, if you watch the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, you see Spider-Man facing these ninjas in red ninja suits in a prison. And it's obviously the same prison that Daredevil is locked up in. So that it obviously it ties in, but it really about 40% it spoils half the movie of Spider-Man Brand New Day, which I guess is not a big deal. It really not, because most of that movie, Sony is putting their effort, their thoughts, their ideas, and are wanting it the way Spider-Man should be. So this to me is 40% is probably just really small detail, and that's just like them spoiling the way this is going to connect to that movie. But the Spider-Man Brand New Day movie is going to focus more on something else that the Sony movie studio has full control of their property of the Spider-Man stuff. So not a big deal. It's just like, but it's like, damn, like it's so obvious now that Daredevil's in this movie. So Not a big deal. I think still people will still like that movie for what it is, and I think still people will get excited to see Daredevil in the Spider-Man Brand New Day. But now it's such an obvious that those two are going to meet up. So that's all. But if I had to give this episode and season 2 of Daredevil Born Again a 1 out of 10, it's a 10 out of 10 for both. 10 out of 10 episode, 10 out of 10 season finale. I honestly, just this was such a. I think season 2 was such better than season 1 of Daredevil Born Again. Just because this time they finally just, in on their own way, just moved on from what Netflix did with these Marvel characters, especially Daredevil, and they made it more MCU like. We saw the Avengers Tower. We seen like, which I think it's strange that they're hinting a comeback for Agent of Shield, and the fact that Luke Cage and Jessica Jones are somewhat ideally going to be part of this, or maybe Bullseye is going to be part of Agents of Shield. But that's a really interesting thing to bring that back. And I'm excited. If you watch the Agent of Shield show, you'll love it. So I honestly think that it's a good idea, but I just wonder how they're going to get to there. How to get these characters there? How do you make it make sense? And will the people accept this drought, or not drought, but this direction that they may take Luke Cage, Mr. Charles, Bullseye, and Jessica Jones, as far as like the idea of it. So, but I think that's really cool. So they got some interesting things, and then like Dr. Heather Glenn. Obviously, the leaked photos are out and stuff, but I'm really curious now. Like, are they going to have Elektra be the main focus in season 3 of Daredevil Born Again? Or does Spider-Man break out Daredevil out of prison? Whether he did it in a way where he's not supposed to, like jailbreak, or is this gonna help convince them to release Matt Murdock from prison? But if they don't do that with Spider-Man Brand New Day, and they keep him locked up in prison, I would love to see Elektra be the star of season 3 of Daredevil Born Again. Because to me, that makes the most sense. Elektra taking on Lady Moose is the right way. I think now it's the right time to keep Kingpin on his private island and not really use him. But I know in set photos he has a beard and he's just walking around. And it looks like Sheila is running for mayor and stuff. So I honestly, I don't know, but it seems like there's going to be like a 5 year gap time jump. But even that, I think having Elektra be the main character of season 3, if they're going to use Dr. Heather Glenn as the main villain, and honestly, it'd make perfect sense, and then you can keep Kingpin kind of shoved off the way a little bit, where you don't have to kill off that character. I think Lady Moose is a character you should kill off in season 3, and then bring back Kingpin when needed. So that's what I would do. And honestly, I would love to see Kingpin sell his island to the right people and help create an island and call it Genosha, so you can have all the mutant Marvel characters, including the X-Men over there. I think that would just be really cool. And just have the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. get involved and expose the dark truth of Genosha would be amazing. So That's what I'm kind of hoping season 3 is going to be working on and focusing on, because this season here was so, it felt like the MCU. It felt like Daredevil could meet up with all the Avengers and any of the other Marvel characters. I do wish they at least had one characters from the movie Thunderbolts make an appearance and meet these characters. That's my only thing I wish they did, but they didn't. But other than that, this really, to me, changed Daredevil, but more to his comic book origin like character, more to the comics. They did stories that would remind you of a Daredevil comic book story, and even with Kingpin and the other characters. So I think this was such a successful creative season. Like, if they keep doing this way, this could be one of Marvel's best like streaming service series. So really great, and I enjoyed everything about it. The acting was good. The, the plot of it, the huge plot twists, like all so good and on point. And everything made sense, and they found everything to balance everything out and not try to clutter it. It was a little clutter at times, but not too much. So really good season, and I hope everybody enjoyed this. Because there's a lot of ways they can go with it. I just explained one way where I think they would go logically, but there's so many ways off the railways they can go with season 3 and use these characters in other Marvel projects if they really wanted to. But that is my spoiler review, guys. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment Official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you guys will update with all my latest content. Thank you guys, and peace out.